women are always the other. And you find that the standard is going to be male. And you sort of see that. I saw it pointed out rather graphically one time I was looking at something, and it was a dull Sunday afternoon, and I was at somebody else's house, and I was desperately trying to find something to read to keep from going to sleep, and so I picked up this woman's magazine, and I was leafing through there, and they had this section on how to keep your husband in shape. And the first line that they started off with was, if your husband's waistline or your husband's chest seems to be melting over his waist, and they went on like that, and the author said, it's because men's hips are so narrow. And I read that, and I wasn't thinking about it too much, but it bothered me. In the back of my mind, it was bothering me. Men's hips are so narrow. Men's hips. Why have I not heard it this way before? Men's hips are so narrow. Well, because you don't hear it that way. What do you hear? You hear women's hips are wide. Men's hips are not narrow. Women's hips are wide. So in that case, what we have done is to make women the other, the outsider, which is easy to discriminate against. And sometimes that can have a deadly consequence. They came out here a couple of years ago with the idea that women don't have the same symptoms for a heart attack that men do frequently. You know, there's standard symptoms of pain in your chest, crushing pain in your chest, shortness of breath, pain radiating into your shoulder and down your left arm. You know, a lot of times women don't have that. They have a kind of, hazy, vague sort of pain there in their neck or even in their jaw or one of their teeth. And they don't think anything about it. It turns out to be a heart attack. So, it is kind of significant how you talk about women. And Simone de Beauvoir is going to say we always make women the other, which is why women or how women are discriminated against. That's wonderful, would you? All right, this one is about family and children, and I think you should look at this. You need to. I think you should look at this and look over it, make sure that you've read it. She's taking an extra sip. Send one over to Jonathan. Oh my goodness, that's how you treat me.
It's like a Canadian.
Okay. Moses, are you reading Mein Kampf?
Oh God.
Tyler is.
Tyler is?
Are you reading Mein Kampf?
I tried reading Mein Kampf, but I only got through like 2 pages.
Dude, let me see your
Wilson?
All right, so what you've got here is actually the answer to, somebody took an old DBQ from like the early 80s, and they made it into a little exercise, and the exercise was, what was the concept, or talk about the changing concept of childhood, 16th, 17th, 18th century, and how that concept of childhood impacted child rearing practices. And then they ask you to summarize, and the thing was, I passed this out about 3 years ago, and the very week of the exam, I had just run across it again in my folder, and I said, hey, I think I'll pass this out, because you never know, there might be a multiple choice question that deals with this. And so I passed it out, and lo and behold, the DBQ that time was about child rearing practices. So I don't think that you're going to run into that again, but do look at it. It's a little bit instructive. You might want to go back and kind of find it about age at marriage, because you are going to find that that gets older and younger at various times, and it can be significant there in how you assess the century. Okay, Then the last thing I'm going to give you today is the second part of our grand review. Yay!
Yay!
Should we put them all together to get like some treasure?
Yes.
The treasure file.
Treasure.
No, I was gonna say that.
Leave back to your closet. All the goodies
Or as I like to call it, Smithsonian and West Davis. Oh God, you brought a tripod.
Yeah, but with only 2 grippers, it doesn't work. So I took off and had nose grippers. No nose grippers.
Yeah. Where is the closest White Castle? Like Florida? Like, we have Crystal here instead of White Castle. There's a difference.
Yeah, that's a really good book to read if you're having trouble with it.
Yeah, you know they have their, you can get them from Publix. Yeah. Yeah, it's like in the frozen semi-meal foods.
Semi-meal foods.
Yeah. You should film us in this conversation.
I can hear you.
Okay. We did that twice last year, right?
I have video of the first one.
All right,
Some of it's
so
on YouTube.
what we have here is
Like 2.5
what,
minutes
3
worth.
more weeks? And what we're going to try to do here is jump into this 1715 to 1870 review. We've got a sheet that goes 1870 to the present. We'll skip a big chunk of that because, you know, we will not have been out of World War I or World War II very long. We won't have to do that in review. So we'll skip over that, and we might take the last session if we need it to cover anything in post-World War II that we may not have gotten to. I think we're going to have probably 5 days in post-World War II, and that should be enough to at least give you the short version. But if we need anything else, or if we need any more in-depth stuff. Now, I don't really expect that you're going to get a lot of weird stuff here, and I guess I should turn this on. In Eastern Europe and the post-communist world, because they hit us pretty hard with that last year. What I'm really thinking at this point in time is that it would be probably a good idea for you to just kind of read over the sections in your book that mention the Ottoman Empire. I don't know what kind of specifics they would answer, but you know, this is like when they give you one of those terror alerts. We're hearing a lot of things in radio transmission that, so I'm seeing a lot of Ottoman Empire here. For the most part, we don't talk about how you get to be Ottoman Emperor, and we don't talk about the culture of the Ottoman Empire or anything like that. It's always kind of tangential, but at least look at what's going on there, how it impacts Martin Luther, how the Austrians have to deal with it, how it perhaps sets up the problems in the Balkans, the sick old man of Europe, the Eastern question, that sort of thing. And I think if you just read over it, and because there's nothing specific, we're just getting these kind of, and we're getting hints from people who don't necessarily make the test. So, but I am hearing that a lot. Oh, those Ottomans, they might be important. Yeah. Okay. I think it's on. All right, so let's pick up with the grand review here, and let's get ourselves a little bit farther into this. We're looking at the 18th century, and we'll give you all the stuff here. The first section is asking you about the 18th century and the various aspects of 18th century society, political, economic, social, and the conflicts that you might see. Who just came in and didn't get one of these? Okay, this will cost you $5.